Chapter 15, Xiao Yulong's Probing. Only after Xiao Che and Xia Qingyu finished eating breakfast did Xiao Lai return, an unprecedentedly heavy look written on his face, along with a bit of shock that had yet to completely disperse. "Grandfather, what happened?" Xiao Che promptly stood up and asked. "A major event. For the Xiao clan, this is an enormous matter," Xiao Lai said, yet his furrowed brow loosened. "But it shouldn't have much to do with us." "An enormous matter? What kind of matter is it?" Xiao Che was even more astonished. "It's the Xiao sect." "The Xiao sect?" This time, not only Xiao Che, but even Xia Qingyu raised an eyebrow. About half an hour ago, the clan master received a letter from the Xiao sect. The letter said that the Xiao sect will immediately send a group of people here. Not only that, but the leader of that group is the Xiao sect's current sect master Xiao Juetian's youngest son. Xiao Lai said slowly. This news caused Xiao Che to fall quiet for a long while before saying, "If that's true, then something doesn't make sense. While our Xiao clan did come from the Xiao sect 160 years ago, the Xiao sect has always treated us with contemptuous disgust. With more than 100 years of separation, there couldn't be anyone in the Xiao sect that would care about our tiny Xiao clan. Why would they suddenly send people here? But to say that they're plotting something, the Xiao sect's influence covers the sky. Why would they need to plot against us? To say that they're granting us a favor is even more impossible." Xiao Lai shook his head and said, "Of course there's a reason. Our Xiao clan's founding ancestor, Xiao Bieli, was secretly expelled from the Xiao sect because his talent was just too poor, but his father was, at the time, the Xiao sect's enforcement hall's elder, Xiao Zheng. Not long ago, Xiao Zheng died. In the year before he died, his thoughts no longer were of chasing power and fame, but rather that he still had Xiao Bieli as a son. After 100 years without contact, his heart was ashamed. He left behind a dying wish, hoping that the Xiao sect could, after his death, find Xiao Bieli's descendants and from their youth select the most talented candidate to take back to the Xiao sect to cultivate. This also serves as an apology for the disregard that he had shown Xiao Bieli and the subsequent expulsion. An ordinary person can't live to be over 100. But when one's profound strength reaches a certain point, living for a few hundred years wasn't out of the question. It's said that once one breaks through to the Emperor Profound realm, their life expectancy would span thousands of years. After listening to Xiao Lai's words, Xiao Che first pondered and then felt relieved. No wonder the Xiao sect would suddenly voluntarily send people to visit. Turns out it was this kind of thing. It seemed that the deceased Xiao Zheng still had some status among the Xiao sect, so the Xiao sect honored his final wish. He also realized why Xiao Lai said that this had nothing to do with them. Select the most talented candidate to take back to the Xiao sect to cultivate. There was no way this most talented candidate any relation with Xiao Che. However, it was obvious that the inner thoughts of the other elders, after hearing this news, should be surging greatly. To be taken back to the Xiao sect to cultivate? What kind of idea was that? If any of their sons or grandsons were picked and taken back to the Xiao sect, then it would be like an earthworm rising from the mud to become a golden dragon floating between the clouds overnight. All of their relatives would take flight behind them. They would be able to arrogantly walk without fear of consequence not only among the Xiao clan, but among all of Floating Cloud City. Anyone who dares to disagree, if told Xiao sect those two words, even the city governor wouldn't dare to talk back. TL literally means wouldn't dare to fart half a fart. This obviously doesn't translate well. Xiao Lai's expression looked to be truly peaceful, but the disappointment that was hidden with great effort still couldn't escape Xiao Che's eyes. Within the Xiao clan, there wasn't anyone who didn't have the desire to go to the Xiao sect. Even the him of today was like this. And with the Xiao sect coming there, this was no doubt the best opportunity to get close to them, because now was when they can directly interact with the Xiao sect's people. The other Xiao clan members all possess that sliver of hope. Only Xiao Lai did not even dare to hope, because there's no way that Xiao Che would be the person that the Xiao sect would pick. Xiao Che opened his mouth to say something to comfort his grandfather, but after mulling for a long time, he couldn't think of a single word to say. His profound veins condition was clearly well known. Even if he said something pleasing to the ears, what was the use? Even though this does not have anything to do with us, that can also be a good thing. The Xiao sect is as large as the sky. Even if we did go there, we'd be among the lowest ranked people. How can it compare to freely and peacefully being on top in floating Cloud City? Xiao Lai easily laughed, sitting at the dining table. Come, help your grandfather finish breakfast. After coming out of Xiao Lai's courtyard, Xiao Che immediately realized that the entire Xiao clan's atmosphere had distinctively changed. Normally at this time, there would be quite a few people doing their morning training. However, now, as far as the eye can see, there were only scattered shadows, most of them moving with hurried footsteps and faces full of excitement. It looks like everyone thinks they can climb onto the high branch that is the Xiao sect, but is leaping to the heavens in one step really a good thing? No one is thinking about what would happen if they truly did enter the Xiao sect. I'd guess that they'd just be the lowliest of messengers. Xiao Che said cynically. Jealous? Xia Qingyu expressionlessly asked. Definitely not. As soon as he said that, Xiao Che realized that the Xia Qingyu by his side was a disciple of the Frozen Cloud Immortal Palace, and in no way inferior to the Xiao sect. He only curled his lips and said, "You aren't the same as them." Forget it, pretend like I didn't say anything. Xia Qingyu no longer minded him and stepped forward. Although it was a really slow step, her body still moved 7 or 8 body widths away. Another step, and she was even further from Xiao Che, leaving him behind. Xiao Che's footsteps stopped, entirely focusing on this gracefully stepping, phantom-like Xia Qingyu. He muttered, "Don't tell me this is the legendary Frozen Cloud Immortal Palace's frozen snow dance steps." This woman's profound strength was not that simple, it should not merely be at the elementary profound realm's 10th level. Yo! If it isn't Brother Xiao Che! A voice called from the right. Xiao Che turned his head and saw Xiao Yang walking towards him. This Xiao Yang normally had his nose pointing at the sky in front of him and treated him with complete disdain. For him to voluntarily greet him was definitely an unusual first time. Brother Xiao Yang. You're up early. Xiao Che turned towards him and greeted good-naturedly. What a coincidence, I was just about to go look for you, but who knew that I'd run into you here? Xiao Yang walked over while laughing. Brother Xiao Yang needed to find me for something? Xiao Che asked, his face full of astonishment. Xiao Yang nodded. It's actually Big Brother Yulong who had me come call you. He said that you're the youngest among us, but the first to get married. As your fellow clanmate, he wanted to hold a little celebration for you, no matter what. Plus, there were too many people at the wedding yesterday, so it was hard to enjoy the wine. It's best to drink a little and eat a little this morning, how about it? Do you have time? Inviting him to drink this early in the morning, it turns out that Xiao Yulong's patience was really only just average. Xiao Che sneered in his heart. He was perfectly aware of the reason why Xiao Yulong came to find him. At that moment, his face revealed an overwhelmed expression, and he emotionally replied, "Is it really Brother Yulong calling for me?" Of course. Of course there's time. Since it's Brother Yulong calling for me, how could I not have time? Then, do we go now? Xiao Che's expression caused Xiao Yang to secretly sneer in disdain. He nodded, of course, let's go. Xiao Yulong's courtyard was bigger than Xiao Che's by about 4 or 5 times. Not only was it overwhelmingly luxurious, but it also had a dedicated serving girl. Slightly north of the courtyard center sat a square pavilion. The table inside was laden with food and wine. Xiao Yulong raised a wine cup with a warm smile on his face. "Little brother Xiao Che, you married our floating cloud city's #1 jewel. Once again, I congratulate you. As your big brother, I'll have to try harder from now on. Thank you, Brother Yulong. Xiao Che also hurried raised his wine cup, his face red from excitement. Actually, regarding that, my marriage is not a big deal at all. Really, it should be me congratulating Brother Yulong. Oh? Xiao Yulong's face revealed his suspicion. He asked with a smile, congratulating me? I don't understand. Xiao Che replied with a serious face. It can't be that Brother Yulong doesn't know about the group coming from the Xiao sect. Whom will select one the most talented youth to take back with them? In this generation of our Xiao clan, as far as talent, position, looks, and character, who could compare with Brother Yulong? So this time, Brother Yulong will definitely be the one taken back to the Xiao sect. It's an enormously happy event. Right. That's right, Brother Yulong will definitely be selected to go to the Xiao sect this time. With Big Brother here, other people shouldn't even think about it, Xiao Yang also promptly said. His aptitude within the Xiao clan was only middling high. On this matter, knowing his chances, he didn't dare to have any ideas. The person with the best chance in the Xiao clan was none other than Xiao Yulong. Since he had spent the last few years following Xiao Yulong around, if Xiao Yulong enters the Xiao sect, it could only benefit him. He began to feel that these few years spent fawning on Xiao Yulong was indeed the right decision. Wearing a modest expression, Xiao Yulong shook his head. You guys praise me too much. Our Xiao clan has many outstanding brothers and sisters. While I can be considered the best as far as profound strength goes, when it comes down to my qualification, I can't say for certain. But I will try my best for this. Come, Brother Xiao Che, a toast to yesterday's happiness. While his words were very carefree, hidden in the depths of Xiao Yulong's eyes was a glowing fanaticism greater than anyone else's. After downing a cup of wine, Xiao Che's face flushed. At this time, Xiao Yang drew his face close, and asked with a face full of smiles, Brother Xiao Che, the woman you married yesterday is truly the most beautiful woman in our floating cloud city. Your luck with women is the envy of all of us brothers. The taste from the bridal chamber last night, must be equally pleasurable, right? Xiao Yulong raised his wine cup, a smiling expression on his face, but his gaze was dead set on Xiao Che's face and eyes, prepared to see what expression he would reveal. However, as soon as Xiao Yang finished his question, Xiao Che's eyes glowed brightly, his face revealing a wanton smile understandable by all men. He leaned his head closer to Xiao Yang and lowered his voice, smiling, absolutely. Brother Xiao Yang, I'll let you know, all women are the same. Xia Qingyu normally looks like a proud peacock, but in bed, she's an absolute slut. Ah, her moaning, her flavor, definitely was pleasurable. Xiao Che narrowed his eyes as he talked, his entire face red with intoxication. ****. The wine cup in Xiao Yulong's hand was crushed into pieces, scattering all over the table.